What do you do when you're 8 years in and about $40,000 deep into trying to make it as a musician and you're still a nobody? This is literally where I am right now, and I wanted to make this video to share my experience of what it's been like to forge this path as a musician and a creative in today's world. Growing a YouTube channel, trying to grow an audience, and ultimately monetize your life as a musician and as a creative. Anybody who seriously pursues this path of the arts or of music or of entrepreneurship or anything creative encounters this kind of lonely chapter, right? This period of time which might last years where you feel like a complete failure, where you're sharing stuff, you're putting stuff out there, you're putting yourself out there, but nobody is watching, nobody is listening, nobody cares what you're creating or what you have to say. And it can be extremely challenging and frustrating, and you can feel very lonely and isolated. Honestly, so many of us are going through this experience. So many of us feel lonely and isolated because we're sharing our music, we're putting ourselves on the line, online, but nobody cares, nobody's listening, nobody's watching your videos, and that makes us feel like a failure because we're creating stuff, we're disciplined, we're consistent, we're putting it out there, but nothing's happening. Nobody's interested. And so you can beat yourself up. This is what I've been doing over the years. I just beat myself up because it's like, oh my gosh, I put in so much effort into creating this music, into creating these videos, and still the numbers aren't there. Still nobody's subscribing. It's different now, like finally my channel is getting a bit of traction and I'm figuring the YouTube game out, and my music is going much better with my band in town, playing gigs and things like this. But in terms of the online endeavor, it's been such a failure. Well, I've felt like such a failure for years and years, honestly. I set out on this path of music and the arts in 2017. I was inspired by this man named AJ Hickling, who was this incredible piano busker in Queenstown. And I saw him out there playing the piano in Queenstown one time, and he blew my mind because it was like true art, true artistry. Like I'd seen nothing like what he was doing or who he was. He was this real character, you know, and he was sharing this beautiful energy and this beautiful gift with the world. And that's when I knew, okay, I need to pursue the arts because this is about sharing something much deeper with the world. It's about impacting other people's lives. Because at the time I was walking this path of hospitality management, and I would go into maybe being some hotel concierge or some, you know, general manager of a hotel chain or a restaurant or something like that. And yes, there is impact in that work, but personally I felt as a musician, as a piano player, as a writer, as someone who loved making little videos as a kid, I knew that I needed to pursue the arts. It was something that I felt convicted in. Like, this is my path. Like, I knew that this was my path. And AJ Hickling playing the piano out there on the waterfront, that's when I knew, like, okay, I need to pursue the arts. This is a serious endeavor. It's like I didn't have a choice in the matter. I had to do it. And so it was April 2017 when I uploaded and published my first music video on YouTube. It was a video called Leaving Home. It was a piece of piano music that I composed and recorded, and I put that out there, and I remember feeling so hopeful and so encouraged and so excited about this new path that I was on as a musician and as an artist and as a creative, right? Oh my God, I'm gonna reach people with my music. I'm gonna have an impact. I'm gonna inspire people. It's gonna be great. And yeah, nothing happened for years. It's like years. You know, that first year that I went all out trying to make it as a musician, nothing happened. I didn't get anywhere. And I did feel like a complete failure. And the next year, when nothing happened. And the next year when nothing happened. And the next year when nothing happened. I'm making this video almost 8 years after that first upload. I've uploaded over 400 videos across 3 channels on YouTube. And I've composed and produced hundreds of original pieces of music, and still I haven't achieved any kind of significant breakthrough on YouTube. And you get to this point where you think, gosh, is this ever gonna work out? I've been throwing stuff at the wall for years and nothing is sticking. right? And we're in a new year now, right? 2025. And I have this genuine fear. It's not a big fear, but it's a very, very minute fear, but it's there of like, is this just going to be another year like the previous years where nothing is going to happen? Where I get some small successes and some small wins. And don't get me wrong, I celebrate the small wins. You got to celebrate the small wins, right? But it's like, man, is that breakthrough ever gonna come? Right? And it makes you feel like a failure. Honestly, the longer that you've been doing it and the older that you're getting and it still hasn't happened, that makes you feel like a failure. If you're resonating with this story and with my experience, I wanted to make this video to hopefully give you some comfort so that you can realize that actually you aren't alone. If you feel alone on this journey, if you're in the lonely chapter right now, if you're putting stuff out there and nobody's listening, just know that so many of us have gone through this experience. There is a podcaster named Chris Williamson who talks about this lonely chapter all the time in just about all of his conversations. So go and listen to some of Chris Williamson's episodes and you will see this theme come up over and over again. Right? Of all of these very successful people, very successful, entrepreneurs, writers, athletes, just very successful people, right? Scientists. And it seems like they all went through this lonely chapter, this period where nobody took them seriously. And so just knowing that those very successful people also experienced this is a very comforting thought, and it makes you feel less alone on the path. Also, just because you haven't made it or you haven't had that big breakthrough online or whatever, doesn't mean that you're a failure. What the heck? Let's not use that word, okay? I know I've been using that word in this video, but the word failure, it's stupid, right? It's more like learnings, right? Every time you fail, it's actually a learning experience. And what happens is you become a stronger, more resilient person through all of those failures, right? The more that you fail, the stronger of a character you become, right? The more lessons you have learned, the more insights that you have gained, the more wisdom that you gain, right? So failure is like, actually, you got to reframe it. You got to think of failure as actually a very positive thing. The more times you fail, the more things you actually have to share. So if you're a content creator, like I feel like I've got so many things to share on this channel because I've been failing for years and years and years. And I've got so many lessons to share from those failings. And it's only been through all of those failed YouTube videos that I've got to this point now where I feel like, okay, my videos look good, they sound good, they feel good, and I feel like, my talking points are more solid. But I only got to this point through like 400 failed uploads. Like, no word of a lie. I have uploaded over 400 videos and most of them didn't get more than 200 views. It's like, that's how it is on YouTube. It's very hard. But yeah, don't think of yourself as a failure because you're not a failure. There's a high likelihood that you're reaching some people at least, right? You might have a small audience. Maybe you're reaching 100 people. Maybe you're reaching only 10 people. Maybe you're only reaching like 3 or 4 people. But that still means that you're reaching somebody. We have to be grateful and thankful that our music is having an impact on at least one person's life. And I think that's important. And the last thing that I wanted to say in this video is that if you are in this lonely chapter and you are still sharing your music, you're still sharing your videos, even when nobody is watching or listening or when nobody cares, then you are successful, right? The only way that you can actually fail, like the true failure with a capital F, is you give up. That's the only way that you truly fail, is if you actually just give up on the path. So long as you do not give up on the path, so long as you keep moving forward, you keep sharing your work, you are a success story. Because most people, they give up. And so all you really need to do is to just keep going, right? That breakthrough is going to come eventually. And there is one quote that I got from Chris Williamson's podcast as well, which goes something along the lines of, nothing happens and then everything happens. Let's have some faith in that quote. I believe it, and I believe in you. If you're watching this video and you made it to the end, it means that you resonate with this message. It means that you are in a similar boat to me, and I'm kind of still in it. I feel like I'm coming out of it now. I feel like things are finally, taking root with what I've been doing online for 8 years. So I really hope that this video made you feel a little bit less alone or less of a failure. You're not a failure. You are valuable and important, and what you have to say and share with the world is also valuable and important. That breakthrough is coming, okay? Vibe and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.